Hey folks, did you know that Donald Trump is possibly going to come back to Twitter and Facebook? Boom. That's the sound of leftist heads exploding because NBC News reported that President Trump is planning on his return to Facebook and Twitter very shortly.
Check this out.
Thanks for tuning in to hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. We got a lot of articles and news to talk about and some viral videos. So we got California never had slavery, but San Francisco plans to give out reparations. We have a Democrat desires to criminalize the First Amendment for white citizens. And MAGA dominates new House committees. We got this and more coming up on GoRightNews.com. Hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. And if you'd like to support our podcast, you can go to GoRightNews.com, hit the donate link, and help us out. Or if not, just at least share this. I think it's time to go right. We'll be right back with this story from Go Right News. You can follow us on GoRightNews.com for more information. Hi, fellow patriots. This is Peter Boykin from hashtag Go Right. Share this right now. Time to go right. I'll never get tired of watching then President Donald Trump, addressing the Globalist World Economy Forum in 2018 to shove his America First message right down their throats.
I believe that today we need to strike the right balance between the necessary rebuilding of national social contracts and at the same time strengthening our multilateral system to address critical issues such as trade, investment, terrorism, and migration. I'm aware that your strong leadership is open to misconceptions and biased interpretations. Therefore, it is so essential for us in the room to listen directly to you.
I'm here today to represent the interests of the American people. The world is witnessing the resurgence of a strong and prosperous America. I'm here to deliver a simple message. There has never been a better time to hire, to build, to invest, and to grow in the United States. Regulation is stealth taxation. The U.S., like many other countries, unelected bureaucrats, and we have, believe me, we have them all over the place, and they've imposed crushing and anti-business and anti-worker regulations on our citizens with no vote, no legislative debate, and no real accountability. In America, those days are over. As president of the United States, I will always protect the interests of our country, our companies, and our workers. We are lifting self-imposed restrictions on energy production to provide affordable power to our citizens and businesses and to promote energy security for our friends all around the world. No country should be held hostage to a single provider of energy. America is roaring back, and now is the time to invest in the future of America.
Nothing to see here, just sitting U.S. Senator Joe Manchin arguing against the First Amendment while attending the World Economic Forum. Senator Joe Manchin says, quote, "The problem we have is the open press system and basically all of the platforms."
The problem that we have is the open press system and basically all the platforms. So if you're able to have 5 platforms, social platforms, that you can basically personify the extremes, somebody who is extremely right or extremely left, and it seems like that is the majority speaking. They're not the majority, but they're basically driving everybody to make a decision. What side are you on? Are you on this side or this side? And in America, there's only one side, the American side. It's not the Republican side or Democrat. We should be coming together to solve the problems from a different angle.
The MAGA dominates new House committees. After a hard fight during the debate for House Speaker, MAGA conservatives are reaping the benefits of key House committee assignments in the 118th Congress. We'll be right back with this story from Go Right News. You can follow us on GoRightNews.com for more information. Hi, fellow patriots. This is Peter Boykin from hashtag GoRight. Share this right now. Time to go right. Giving them even greater influence over upcoming legislation and criminal probe. Note that committee assignments are desirable slots for House members that puts them in positions of power to control the direction of the House. The House Oversight Committee is a check and balance on the roles and power of Washington and will give approval for the forthcoming investigations of Joe Biden, Dr. Fauci, and others. Speaker McCarthy added half a dozen MAGA Republicans to this committee, including Representatives Byron Donalds, Paul Gosar, Scott Perry, Anna Paulina Luna, Laura Boebert, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. All except for Greene had initially voted no on McCarthy's speakership. Taking the gavel, MAGA conservatives didn't just score committee appointments, they are now running several committees. Representative Jim Jordan will be the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. Representative Mark Green will head the Homeland Security Committee. Representative Andy Harris will head the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Agriculture. And other major committees would also get MAGA reinforcements, including the House Financial Services Committee will add Representatives Andy Ogles and Byron Donalds, and the House Judiciary Committee will add Representative Matt Gaetz. The House Appropriations Committee will add Representatives Andrew Clyde and Michael Cloud. The House Homeland Security Committee will add Representatives Eli Crane and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Overall, these appointments will help keep the issues that you and I care about in the spotlight of the 118th Congress. The source of this is Axios, and you can access this on our website, GoRightNews.com, and the article, and you can find the link to that story on Axios as well in this article. Thank you for tuning in to hashtag GoRight with Peter Boykin. Climate activist Greta Thunberg was dragged away and detained for a while. She led a protest in Germany, but not so fast. Looks like that video was staged. Did Greta Thunberg stage her own arrest? Looks like it.
Wie sieht's denn aus mit der Wattstraße?
So the police
Platz machen!
we inform you that you
How many times did you rehearse your arrest at the German coal mine? How many times did you rehearse it? Because it looked staged. Is it true? How many times did you rehearse your arrest?
Greta, it's getting quite cold in Davos. When can I expect some global warming?
Greta, would you say you're a child actor? Are you a child actor or an expert? How would you describe yourself? Greta, who was filming your arrest in Germany? Because it looked like you did that in several takes, didn't you? You were posing with the police.
It's very likely that the German police and RWE fossil fuel company would stage an arrest.
Well, how many times were you arrested? Because
yeah, you know, it's not led us anywhere specifically good, has it? We can only look at where we're headed, and these are the people who are in charge, the people who own the wealth and who are investing in fossil fuels, etc. So, and yet they are the ones we expect to solve the climate crisis when it's people are affected by it that we should be listening to.
Former Vice President turned climate change psychopath Al Gore has a full-blown meltdown on the stage of the World Economic Forum. What in the global warming is Al Gore smoking? This man is a cuckoo for climate change.
Enough already! Enough! And I don't want to get sidetracked onto what needs to happen, but we need to scale up climate finance, but we need desperately to scale down anti-climate finance. And we are still subsidizing the burning of fossil fuels globally at a rate 42 times larger than the subsidies for the shift toward renewables and EVs, etc. We need new leadership at the World Bank. We need them to scale up the leverage and vastly increase the amounts that are committed. And we need to rein in the anti-climate activities of the fossil industry.
Democrat desires to criminalize the First Amendment for white citizens. No First Amendment for white people. At least one Democrat is hoping to criminalize white speech.
We'll be right back with this story from Go Right News. You can follow us on GoRightNews.com for more information.
Hi, fellow patriots. This is Peter Boykin from #GoRight. Share this right now. Time to go right. House Democrat Sheila Jackson Lee introduced a bill that would create a new federal hate crime conspiracy charge, but only for white Americans. There are already laws on the books that target legitimate crimes committed because of someone's race, religion, or ethnicity, and probably gender and sexuality now. Under the bill, or under this bill, white Americans would face federal charges for posting online about topics like illegal immigration or criticizing Black Lives Matter if federal prosecutors believe it has or could potentially inspire a hate crime committed by someone else. Now, the details is that Representative Lee introduced the Leading Against White Supremacy Act of 2023, of which she is the sole sponsor. The bill would criminalize posting white supremacy ideology, replacement theory, and hate speech, all quotes cited those, directed at non-white groups on social media or other platforms where their messages could be viewed by someone who might be inspired to commit a hate crime. It should tell you everything you need to know that she couldn't even get one of her far-left Democrat colleagues to co-sponsor this bill. The obvious problems with this bill are it targets only white Americans, which makes it racist on its face. It would charge white Americans for crimes committed by people they never interacted with. It's a soft repeal of the First Amendment. All speech, even if it's repulsive, is free speech. The more subversive problem is that while the bill imposes criminal penalties for white supremacist speech, it never defines what white supremacy is. I mean, a lot of people think this is white supremacy, and that's just the okay symbol. That, of course, is intentional, so that left-wing prosecutors and judges can make their own definition to cast a wide net, because the real goal of this bill is to discourage and silence speech that rejects left-wing ideology. But unlike more cunning members of the Democratic Party who collude with big tech to silence their political opponents, Representative Lee is dumb enough to put her racist, anti-First Amendment dreams on paper. Fatefully, this bill is going nowhere in the Republican-led House. The source of this is the New York Post and the National Conservative. You can find links to those articles inside of this article on GoRightNews.com. Thank you for tuning in. How embarrassing. Fox News host Geraldo Rivera has no idea what AR and AR-15 stands for. Greg Gutfeld says, quote, yes, it's a rifle. What does AR stand for? Geraldo has no clue what AR stands for. And the AR-15. Everybody knows what AR stands for. It means awesome Republican, right?
Oh, look at me. I'm a big deal.
It's a rifle.
And it's not a rifle,
Yes, it's
Greg.
a rifle.
It is a machine.
What does AR stand for?
It is an automatic rifle. That's not what it is. Well, all I know is that AR-15s have no place in American society other than sport clubs. And I agree with him on that.
If you don't say the word, quote, critical race theory, you can technically teach it. Project Veritas called a CRT curriculum salesman explaining how the material isn't intentionally hidden in schools.
If you don't say the word critical race theory, you can technically teach it.
And it's amazing how you've gotten the schools to purchase a curriculum.
And they don't even know what's going on. I always have a good salesman, but I'm also an evil salesman. Like, so bad.
So the public schools have the state funding, right?
They do.
So the state is basically paying for your curriculum without knowing what's in it. Does your curriculum have critical race theory in it?
Yep.
And the government doesn't know.
And they have no clue. And I'm like, this is good.
Well, in order to make sure it's under the radar, how do you?
This is DEI work.
How many schools in Georgia have your curriculum?
Two districts, actually. So, Cook County and then Cobb County.
Wait, your curriculum that is in the schools here in Georgia is just kindergarten?
It's one of here just kindergarten, yeah. But
so cool. So you make your CRT stuff in
kindergarten. It's so good. It's like, he's like such an idiot. Like, his wife does a lot of stuff in education here. I was a former teacher.
What do you think she would do if she found out there's CRT?
Oh, I would get nailed, for sure.
What about these parents who might push back after doing it?
Who cares? I'm not part of the system. I can't lose I'm not gonna lose my job over it. Worst that's gonna happen is y'all gonna be upset, and I shared some knowledge. That's the worst that's gonna happen.
This is how we handle things. We get sucked
in the school,
in a classroom.
So we've been sneaking things in the cracks.
We teach kids things under the radar. My license is already gone, so what are you gonna do?
So do you teach in schools now?
I do. I still do, which is insane, right? Which is still insane.
James O'Keefe here in Fulton County, Georgia. Quentin Bostic, who holds a PhD from Georgia State, is a former literacy educator who had his teaching license revoked around 2017. Quentin now works as a project manager for the Teaching Lab with a $15 million budget dedicated to creating more equitable curriculums. Bostic is now on his own selling curriculums he created to the state of Georgia. He admitted to having multiple private companies where he profits off the curriculums that he sells.
And it's amazing how you've gotten the schools to purchase a curriculum.
And they don't even know what's going on. I always have a good salesman, but I'm also an evil salesman. Like, so bad.
So the public schools have the state funding, right?
They do.
So the state is basically paying for your curriculum without knowing what's in it. How many schools in Georgia have your curriculum?
Two districts, actually. So, Cook County and then Cobb County.
You make that profit, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
The state pays for that.
Correct.
Yeah.
They do. The state pays for it.
The state pays for your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know critical race theory is in it.
Right, of course. They don't know. They don't know. I mean, so basically this goes right into the account.
And your account. Not teaching habits.
Nope, my account.
The problem with this is that Bostic admits his curriculum is rooted in CRT, also known as critical race theory, which happens to be illegal to teach in the state of Georgia. Bostic says that if Governor Kemp and his wife found out what he was doing, Governor Kemp's wife is an educator, that Bostic would be, quote, nailed for doing it.
Is critical race theory illegal in the schools here?
It is banned. It's still banned in the schools.
So now your curriculums.
Exactly. And on top of that, if you don't say the word critical race theory, you can technically teach it. And people don't know what critical race theory is. So when they see the word, like,
alarm goes off.
Alarm goes off. But if you teach the principles of it, people are like, of course. Like,
so does your curriculum have critical race theory in it?
Yep.
And the government doesn't know.
And they have no clue. And I'm like, this is good. This is good.
Walking all the way to the bank.
Exactly.
Have a look in your curriculum. What would they find that's like banned, like contraband, illegal?
Books, theories.
Critical race theory.
Critical race theory. Even like banned books.
So the entire district has, all the schools have them.
And I use it. I mean, it's an option in Fulton County, but most of the teachers, because they are teachers of color, are like, I I want to use this. Teaching diversity. We're teaching love all humans. And I'm like, behind the scenes, like, man, teach it like this, though. Like, teach it, make sure you say this, and use these words, and use this book.
As long as they don't look in your curriculum and see banned books, you're good.
Yeah. And also, in the day, they already bought it. So, like, Boykin says that you already bought it. So, either you waste your money, you do the right work.
So it goes on to the teacher, it's not you.
Which sucks. But, nature the beast. He's like, such an idiot. Like, his wife does a lot of stuff in education here. Who's a former teacher. And so she does like book donations, and the books are just like.
What do you think she would do if she found out there's CRT?
Oh, I would get nailed for sure. The worst that I can see happening in a weird way, probably I'm taking like my business license or something like that, or like something weird. Like, I can still doing it. You have to keep on consulting. I can keep consulting.
Bostic seems fully aware of his actions of sneaking CRT into the curriculums could get him into trouble. Bostic also talks about gearing his curriculums towards kindergarten-age children, and he explains how critical race theory can be taught to children, quote, under the radar, by labeling it as DEI instead of critical race theory, DEI standing for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
But what about your curriculum? How long does it take?
Oh, like 2-3 years. And it's just kindergarten.
Wait, your curriculum that is in the schools here in Georgia is just kindergarten?
It's one of his just kindergarten, yeah.
That's so cool. So your CRT stuff is
kindergarten. It's so good. So yeah, so stuff like that. The kids, I mean, you can teach kids things under the radar.
And through your curriculum. Good for you. And the only people who would know would be the teachers.
Researchers like me who know it very well.
And you just present it in a way of how, in order to make sure it's under the radar. How do you?
It's a DEI word.
But some of them still won't accept that.
Some of them. So but that phrase is more accepting, like anti-racist education, like race theory. Like.
So DEI is like the cover for the CRT.
Bostic appears to be careful with the choice of words he uses to describe his curriculums. He also claims that parents are ignorant, and the goal of his curriculum is to have the students go against their parents.
I hate to say it, but like parents aren't teachers.
Parents are ignorant.
They are.
And so you're making money off of ignorant parents.
Yeah, and these kids are also pushing against their parents too. Like, Mom, that's not right. You shouldn't say that.
Well, that's the goal.
Yep, eventually.
To get the parents
to get the kids to influence their parents to make the shift too.
So if parents aren't coming into schools, then the teachers can go and see what they want, right?
It's clear that Dr. Quentin Bostic is willing to use deceptive measures to push his agenda on young students. Stay tuned for part 2, where Bostic explains how he really feels about the Mackenzie Scott-funded organization he works for, the Teaching Lab, or as Bostic refers to it as, the Scam Lab. Stay tuned.
California never had slavery, but San Francisco plans to give out reparations. A San Francisco committee is proposing a reparations plan that would give out multi-million-dollar payouts to every long-time Black resident, along with other financial incentives due to what it describes as decades of systemic repression.
We'll be right back with this story from Go Right News. You can follow us on GoRightNews.com for more information.
Hi, fellow patriots. This is Peter Boykin from #GoRight. Share this right now. Time to go right. Keep in mind that California never had slavery because it was founded in 1850. This committee even admits neither San Francisco nor California formally adopted the institution of chattel slavery. So what are these reparations for? The committee says, quote, the tenets of segregation, white supremacy, and systemic repression and exclusion of Black people were codified through legal and extra-legal actions, social codes, and judicial enforcement. Now, the details of the reparations plan. The San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee, SFAARAC, which was put together to come up with a reparations plan to propose to the city, released its first draft most recently. Its provisions include a lump sum payment of $5 million to each eligible black resident, financing a comprehensive debt forgiveness program that clears all educational, personal, credit card, payday loans, etc., supplementing low-income black residents to reflect the city's median income of $97,000 for the next 250 years, a formal apology from the city to black residents, at least that's free, and applicants must be 18 years old and have identified as black or African American on public documents for at least 10 years. Now, paying for the plan, San Francisco has 44,000 black residents. If just half of them are eligible, the total cost of the plan to the taxpayers is estimated to be $100 billion.
And billions 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 and billions.
Meanwhile, the city ran into a $728 million deficit last year. Overall, Democrats in the House of Representatives are trying to create a similar reparations committee on the federal level. Thankfully, with Republican control, this won't happen for now. Note, slavery was obviously a dark piece of history, but taking tax dollars from Americans who never held slaves and giving it to other Americans who never were slaves is morally wrong. Now, a lot of people ask, will there be fraud involved in the San Francisco reparations? Well, I have to say, as a long-term 85-year long resident of San Francisco, as a black resident of San Francisco, that I think this is a great thing, and there's definitely not going to be any fraud involved. The source of this is Fox News and the Daily Caller, and you can find those links on this article on GoRightNews.com. Thank you for tuning in. A whistleblower has exposed how illegal immigrants are being put up in fancy New York City hotels, are trashing the place, drinking all day, doing drugs, and creating safety violations inside their free rooms. Oh, I didn't know if you went to New York and you want to stay at a fancy hotel, you just had to be an illegal immigrant.
This is bags and bags of food being thrown away because the migrants don't want to eat them and they just go to waste. This is all food that is going to waste. This is insane. This is fresh. This is good food, but they don't want to eat it. They said they don't like it.
Now, what you just saw is this huge amount of food that's been thrown away daily at this big New York City hotel that's being used to house illegal immigrants. Now, according to this whistleblower, more than 36,400 have come to New York City in the last few months, and city officials have put them up in at least 14 hotels, one of them being The Row in Times Square. Now, that's where the pictures that you're seeing right now were taken. My next guest, Felipe Rodriguez, says that he's worked there since 2017, but now that illegals have taken it over, the place is complete chaos. And Felipe joins me now. Felipe, good to see you tonight. Now, when you say chaos, tell us what you mean. Fights, drugs, altercations, other violations?
Good evening. Nice for you to have me. Thank you. The chaos that we see at the Row today is compiled by migrants being drunk, drinking all day, smoking marijuana, consuming drugs, and domestic violence, people having sex in the stairs, young people, teenagers. They use the fire exit stairs to go in there and do what teenagers do. We have people, actually trying to act like the hotel is theirs and we have no rights. The form in which they keep their rooms is horrendous. They don't They don't clean it. They don't fold their clothes. They don't. I mean, it's in piles and piles. They're hoarding clothes. They're hoarding whatever they can hoard, and there's no accountability. And when you go into a rooms and you say something, you know, the hotel management, especially the GM, has directed us that we're not allowed to tell them nothing, and practically they have carte blanche at the route.
So Felipe, so what you'd say is that you don't see this sort of expected gratitude for free housing, free food, obviously shelter in a city where rent is very expensive. You're not seeing a lot of that.
When there was a time in 2017 where I paid a lot of money to house my wife and my kids, and I paid cable, I paid gas, I paid light, I paid my car payments. There was a lot of stuff that I had to be responsible for. Fortunately for the migrants, they got the government of the United States to hand them carte blanche to pretty much do as they wish. They go in and out of the hotel at will. You got people sick in there. They're spreading all type of illnesses, chicken pox, COVID, what you may have, and nobody is telling them they can't do that. So right now, the ones that have all the power, the migrants, the hotel workers lost their power at the hotel. The GM doesn't have our back. I guess all he cares about is making the money that he's making. But
I don't want to turn this into a personal grievance about the GM or how the hotel is run. What we're interested in, Felipe, is what's happening with the use of taxpayer dollars. New York, it's estimated, has spent about $1 billion. That's the estimate on the illegal immigrants in New York City, including the housing that you're seeing. Now, we're showing pictures of weed, marijuana, that you said was found at the hotel. So how did you find it? Or you didn't find it? Do you know who this belonged to?
I collected it. The marijuana there was a fight in the lobby. I was there that night, and one of the migrants was drunk, and he took a swung on a security officer, hit him in the head. The security for the hotel took him down. The NYPD responded, and when the NYPD entered the hotel, there was a couple of teenagers by the stairs of the lobby to go into the top lobby, and when they seen the cops, they just dropped the weed on the stairs, and I seen it, so I took pictures of it and I collected it and gave it to security.
Well, Felipe, if all Americans could see what you've witnessed just in the last few months at this hotel, in one sentence, what do you think they'd say?
It's a disgrace.
Well, that sums it up. Yeah, Felipe, you've done more to illuminate this situation than, frankly, a lot of folks in the media, because you had inside access, and we really appreciate your speaking out and giving us this information. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Go Right with Peter Boykin. Please like this post, and please subscribe and follow and share this podcast to all your social media accounts, and visit GoRightNews.com for more Go Right News with Peter Boykin. If you like what you hear, help support the podcast by donating. The link to donate is on GoRightNews.com. Thank you for your support.
Check out this news story and more on GoRightNews.com and the podcast #GoRight with Peter Boykin.
Go right and register to vote. Your vote matters, so vote. Go right and vote. #Go Right. Go right. Do right. Be right. Go right. Do right. Be right. Lead right. Think right. Vote right. Vote right. Think right. Lead right. #Go Right.
It's time to join the Go Right movement. It is time to #Go Right for America. Join us at GoRight.us and GoRightNews.com.
It is time for the great American revival, and it is time to hashtag Go Right for America.
Thanks again, everybody, for listening to this, and please share it everywhere. Again, this has been hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin, a part of GoRightNews.com.